9.
Yeah, just a little play action there. But that was a nice first play for Arizona.
So now it's first down from the Sioux Falls Storm, 13 yards.
I think we talked early in pregame about where the big play is going to come from, and that was definitely a big one. Is not quite sure what happened on that kickoff coverage. Really only one guy had a shot to tackle Williams, and he whiffed, and it was off to the races. Just poor kick coverage there by Arizona, and the Storm made him pay.
Well, and that one guy that had a chance to make the tackle was the kicker.
Yeah.
That guy ain't going to make the play.
Corey Williams on a 55-yard kick return for a touchdown, and now Justin Saravanka, 85% PAT kickers on the field to try the point. Out of the hold of Lorenzo Brown, there's the snap, placement kick, and it's good, and we are tied at 7. We are tied at 7, and we'll pause for a 30-second timeout and be back with more football from the United Bowl. You're listening to this broadcast brought to you by Fireplace Pros. Back in 30. And welcome back to Storm football, as Corey Williams has electrified this crowd with a 50-yard. They give him credit for 50. It was actually about a 55-yard kick return. They give him credit for 50. Kick return for a touchdown. Point after by Justin Saravatka is good. We are tied at 7. 10:39 left to play in this first quarter.
With a ball fake, passing downfield to a wide open Miles. Miles turning, jetting upfield into the end zone for the Arizona score.
And I'm sitting here looking at the replay in the building. The reason why Miles was wide open is because the defensive lineman jumped off sides and everybody thought the play was going to be blown dead because he was not in his stance. When you're not in your stance, that's an automatic penalty. Everybody stopped for a second except for Jamal and Cody Sokol.
Well, and as it turned out, there was a ball fake to that left side, and everybody was looking at that left side, and then to your point, with what they thought was going to be a penalty called, allowed the time, giving Miles a separation, and ultimately the Sokol touchdown pass. As Arizona, wasting no time, reclaiming the lead. 13-7, 1:02 to go here in the opening quarter of the United Bowl Championship. You're listening to live coverage of that here on the Fanatic, 1580 AM, 99.3 FM. Back after this.
You're listening to this message from That's a Good Song. In fact, we're always interested in good songs. Good songs identify people and places. Good songs communicate important information. With our business, we not only encourage good songs, we create good song science systems. Our songs identify, direct, and inform so you can navigate through life faster and easier. And that's a really good thing. Call Core Science Systems today.
The following update is for drivers who pay too much for car insurance due to DUIs, DWIs, tickets, or anything else. Our company specializes in low-cost SR22 auto insurance. We know that mistakes happen and offer free quotes for very affordable auto insurance meant specifically for you, the overpaying high-risk driver. The quote is free and we'll handle the filing so you can start saving money. Call 800-749-2984. 800-749-2984. 800-749-2984.
Richmond 96
I guess here we go.
The Fanatics, Arizona's new home for football.
Welcome you back to live coverage of the United Bowl Championship here from the Denny Sanford Premier Center in Sioux Falls, South Dakota with Dale Hellestray. I'm Kevin Ray. The Arizona Rattlers with a 14-7 lead over the 6 consecutive champions, that being the Sioux Falls Storm. Arizona coming in here, we anticipated really trying to lay the foundation with their ground game, but Sokol has been able to find some wide open receivers, and Jamal Miles on the receiving end of yet another Sokol touchdown pass as Petrie's got it teed up, puts his foot into this one. Corey Williams settles under it about 8 yards deep. On the return, cuts past the cover man who's tripped up there. Nice job defensively by Nate Lindsay, who was able to take the legs of Williams out from under him and leave the return short. So for the first time today, we'll finally get to see this Sioux Falls Storm offense.
Going back to Corey Williams real quick, that's what Jeff Jarnigan had talked about all week that they worked on. That he's a guy who runs laterally, picks a hole, and then explodes through it right there. He ran laterally. This time, the Rattlers were in all the right lanes.
So the Storm working right to left. They are led by their quarterback, Lorenzo Brown, last MVP of the United Bowl. They'll start it with a ground attack, running right at the heart of that Arizona defense.
Well, that's the one thing, Lorenzo Brown, that's what this coaching staff from the Rattlers have talked about all week, too, that he can beat you with his speed. He completes enough passes. He's dynamic. He's explosive. And so you run that zone read, and you certainly have to pay attention to the quarterback.
They load up the top side of that formation. Brown on the keeper. Nice little stutter step there to buy himself an extra couple of yards as he moves across the 15 out near the 17-yard line. Before he's finally tripped up and brought down following the short gain.
You talked about the Storm defense. Rattlers defense not far behind them, especially second half of the season. Nebraska, they were absolutely dominant. Going to take an effort like that tonight for them to win this football game.
Adam Souter was the one who was able to wrap up Brown. First and 10 after that carry for the Storm, and Brown looking up, play clock winding down, and quickly calls a timeout.
Timeout, Sioux Falls, number 1.5.
7:18 to go here in the opening quarter, with the Arizona Rattlers leading 14-7.
Again, talking with Jeff Jarnigan, it's just always interesting to me, you know, from our perspective, defense played about as well as it could against Nebraska. Has been playing really well as the season went along, and yet coaches always pushing for more, pushing for perfection from this football team, and these players have responded, but this by far will be their toughest test of the year. While we have a minute, the other thing that's always an interesting story to me, Mina Smith, their guard, number 75, he's 6'6", 360 pounds, almost like a rent-a-player. He comes in for games.
The hired gun.
And he's a good one. You know, there are not very many football players who don't have to practice all the time and can bounce from one team to another and really not even live in the city of which you're playing and come out and start in the United Bowl.
Yeah, this is a guy who's a 5-time IFL recipient, and you can understand why when he comes with size like that. Brown with a shot across the middle. Pass was low as he gets blistered just as he releases the football. And it was Chris McAllister, named first team IFL earlier this week, as Brown's pass falls at the feet of the intended receiver, Corey Williams.
Jabari Buckley and McAllister having some words after the play. And, you know, the Rattlers, that's one thing that they have done really, really well as this season has gone along. They have gotten after the quarterback.
It's a Rattlers team that's registered 27 sacks on the season. 2nd and 10 here. Brown deep drop. They're going to whistle the play dead. And it looks like this one may go against Sioux Falls.
It'll be interesting. Chris McAllister was out of his stance.
Offside. Defense, number 31. 5-yard penalty.
Yep, and that was the call.
They went fly motion, and I think Chris McAllister, remember, you've had 2 weeks now to see tendencies on each other. And so you see a certain formation, you see a certain motion. A lot of times you kind of know what play is coming. I think he got a little antsy because he thought he knew exactly what was going to happen and came out of his stance.
$14-7 our lead if you're just tuning in. Under 6.5 to go here in the opening quarter. United Bowl Championship, Arizona with a lead. Handoff, running play right up the middle to Williams. Williams utilized much like a Jamal Miles. They like to use his speed downfield and the big pass plays, but also his elusiveness and quickness on those little traps and sweeps.
It's always interesting. You hear about it with each level you go up in football that a hole will form, but the higher level you go up, the quicker it closes. There was a pretty big hole there for Williams to run through, but the Rattlers defense closed it quickly. Brown
on the ball fake, keeps it himself, and he gets wrapped up and slammed to the turf by Justin Martin. 6'2", 275 out of Arkansas Tech. Read that one beautifully when he was able to shed the offensive lineman to bring Brown down.
Really nice job by Martin, who's had himself a whale of a season from the nose guard spot. As you mentioned, 275 pounds. Very undersized for the Indoor Football League. But as Jeff Jarnigan told me, he said, I don't care how big you are if they can't block you.
4th and 3, we'll call it. Brown with a deep drop's going to lob it deep, has Williams there. Williams had the hands outstretched, just grazing off his fingertips. And Williams colliding there in the back of the end zone of the dasher board. There's a marker down, back and around the
sideline warning, Arizona.
And that is the result of the flag. So a sideline warning, but that Arizona defense able to turn them over on downs. And we'll give the football back to the offense with the Rattlers leading 7.
Well, you can see both coaching staffs have kind of the same philosophy. You're not going to see Kevin Guy kick too many field goals or attempt too many field goals. He's going to have a propensity to go for it right there. Sioux Falls, 4th and short, figuring Arizona's be jamming at the line of scrimmage. Going to take a shot deep, and they almost connected.
So the Rattlers will take over. 1st and 10 here. Ball right at midfield. Monroe gets the handoff, running play to his right, and was able to slip out of the grasp of the first defender who came in. And then Tyler Knight, the linebacker, was able to latch on and take hold. Knight, leading tackler on this Sioux Falls Storm defense.
Now that's the first player that the offensive staff mentioned about the defense was Tyler Knight, playmaking linebacker, team all IFL. As you said, led him in tackles and 11.5 tackles for losses.
Toss play left to Monroe. Monroe banging his way past the first defender. Marker down. Back in the backfield.
Now they're clapping.
Should be enough for a first down carry, but based on the Storm reaction.
Holding. Offense. Number 58. 10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
And that is registered against Damian Love, the big 6'4", 300-pound offensive lineman out of Alabama State University, who was named second team IFL earlier this week.
Rattlers trying to run a lot of that wide zone that their running backs feel comfortable doing, but they have to get offensive linemen need to get their heads play side. If you don't get a play side as fast as this Sioux Falls defensive line is, you have to reach out and grab them. Got caught that time.
With the penalty, it sets up 2nd and 17 as we move under 4 minutes to play here in the opening quarter. Empty backfield here for Sokol. Monroe split to the right, rifles a pass into coverage, and very fortunate it was not picked off. Rashard Smith out of North Carolina State University lurking there in the secondary, and Sokol really just staring that one down, and a huge break because this is a defense that has rung up 27 interceptions on the season.
Well, and Rashard Smith, first team all IFL, wasn't even supposed to be guarding that receiver for the Rattlers. Saw Sokol's eyes, backed off his intended receiver, and as you said, almost came up with the interception.
Had 2 of his 9 interceptions in last week's conference championship, returned 1 for a touchdown. Sokol pressure, drops it short on a screen to Monroe. Monroe, though, running away from his blockers, running on the short side of the field. And that played into the hands of Sioux Falls. There is a marker down, and Arizona pointing at Sioux Falls.
Illegal defense, number 34, 5-yard penalty, replay 3rd down.
So a chance to do it all over again. Brandon Pegues, the guilty party.
Well, the guy who messed up that screenplay was, again, Tyler Knight. He's listed at 6 foot, 225 pounds. Ran through the offensive line of the Arizona Rattlers and able to make sure that there wasn't going to be a big play.
So 3rd and 12 now for Arizona. Sokol deep drop, pressured, now moves to his right with a ball fake, steps up, throws, completes to Amos inside 5. Amos coming back outside the 5, but it'll be enough for the first down catch and sets him up 1st and goal to go from the 7.
Give that Rattler offensive line a ton of credit. A lot of time to throw the football. Everybody was covered downfield. Then Sokol, I think earlier in the year he'd have taken off and tried to run with the football. This time he just kind of squirts to his right a little bit, eyes downfield, able to get enough on the football to complete the pass.
Handoff to Monroe, running play to his right, stacked up, play not whistled dead. Monroe trying to reverse field. And let's see, well, maybe they did end up whistling it dead. We were unable to hear the whistles from up top. Far side judge says yes. Sioux Falls would have preferred no because Monroe eventually lost about 2 or 3 yards trying to reverse field.
Monroe's fast, but he's not as fast as Rashard Smith, who's 5'10", 180 pounds. And we've seen Daryl Monroe outrun a lot of defenders this year, but he wasn't going to get past Rashard Smith.
Kevin Guy sprinting down the far side and wanting to get a timeout call.
Timeout, Arizona. Number 1.5.
Was not a play clock issue. The play clock was at about 6, so he saw something, obviously, in their defensive alignment and coverage that prompted the quick timeout. They're first, and it comes with 1:10 to play here in the opening quarter. Arizona driving and leading 14-7. You're listening to live coverage of the United Bowl Championship here on the Fanatic, 1580 AM, 99.3 FM.
Being a great athlete isn't just about running the fastest or jumping the highest. It's also about doing the right thing. That's why Better Business Bureau has partnered with AIA to recognize high school athletes whose ethics. An athlete who does the right thing on and off the field? At athlete.arizonabbb.
It's an extremely valuable resource. It's found in offices, buildings, and schools. It's a resource that speaks volume, yet it never makes a sound. Everyone recognizes it. Everyone uses it. Interestingly enough, it's rarely discussed. Croy Sign Systems, designers and manufacturers of architectural and ADA signs since 1981. Let Croy be your resource for identification, direction, and information. Give Croy Signs a call at 480-619-6070 or online at kroysigns.com.
1580 The Fanatic, Arizona's new home for football.
.110 to play here in the opening quarter of the United Bowl Championship. Here from the Denny Sanford Premier Center in Sioux Falls, South Dakota with Dale Ellisray. I'm Kevin Ray. Arizona with a 14-7 lead and looking for more. Second and goal to go from the 6. Working left to right. Sokol on the keeper. Diving straight ahead across the 5. And it looks like he'll get stacked up at about the 2. So third down coming up.
And it's so important for this Arizona Rattler team. If you can get that 2-score lead, that makes the other team get into chase mode, do things that they're not used to doing. You play differently, and it puts a ton of pressure on the defending champion.
.36 seconds left here in the opening quarter. Play clock down to 1, and Kevin Guy's going to have to burn a second timeout, and he's obviously a little irritated. He's talking to his quarterback and his team saying, you got to look at the play clock.
You got to get lined up. Some of that is sometimes the play needs to get in a little bit quicker, and then obviously once you get in, you have to have that little internal clock of, okay, 25-second clock is starting to run down. We got to get moving, get lined up, and let's go.
I think Kevin Guy also talking to the official about getting the indication on when. Some discussions already about home field advantage and communication. And
you take a look at it, Kevin realizes how important this possession is. I think in some other situations he might just let that go, take our 5-yard penalty. We can get it on the next down because we want to conserve those timeouts for the last minute of the half. But he realizes how important finishing off this drive is.
Yeah, and finishing it off with a touchdown rather than having to settle for a field goal. They'll have 3 receivers stacked to the left, 2 of them in motion now. They hand off to Monroe. Monroe driving, and Monroe stacked up at the goal line, and he did not get in. A helmet came flying off one of the Rattler players.
That was Damian Love, and Damian Love still went in there and stuck his head and tried to push Monroe over the goal line as Monroe was struggling, fighting and scratching to get across the goal line.
It looked initially like he was going to have enough momentum to get in, but then all of a sudden just stacked up there, and now Arizona facing 4th down, but they'll have a little extra time in order to think about it because we have reached the end of the first quarter here in the United Bowl Championship with our score, Arizona leading Sioux Falls 14-7. You're listening to live coverage of the United Bowl Championship here on the Fanatic, 1580 AM, 99.3 FM.
The Fanatic Open, driven by Lerner and Rowe and Money Radio 1510, benefiting St. Mary's Food Bank, is Friday, September 15th at the beautiful TPC Scottsdale Champions Golf Course. Get your foursome together and join us for cold beverages, including the popular 1580 brew, incredible tea prizes, tons of contest holes, and yes, golf, as well as a special post-party event. Space is limited for the Friday, September 15th, 8 a.m. Shotgun Scramble. Register today by clicking the Fanatic Open tab at 1580thefanatic.com.
The Danky's 1580 Summer Meal Deal is now available at Danky's award-winning barbecue in Phoenix. Thursday through Saturday, late night 8 to 10. Take advantage of this amazing offer. 4 signature slider sandwiches, fresh cut fries, a pint of cold Fanatic 1580 brew, and a special souvenir beer mason jar. Or choose 4 award-winning smoked fried drums, fries, 1580 brew, and a special souvenir mason jar for just $15.80. Danky's is located on the southwest corner of Bell and Tatum next to Walmart and at dankysbarbecue.com.
New home for football.
We head to the second quarter here from the Denny Sanford Premier Center in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. The United Bowl Championship, where the United Bowl Championship trophy has resided for the last 6 consecutive seasons. Storm, winners of all those, is making their 8th straight appearance here. But they're taking on an equally talented and championship pedigree level team in the Arizona Rattlers. In their first season in the IFL, Arizona with it, 4th and goal to go from the 1. Sokol under center, long snap count to give to Monroe. Monroe spinning, Monroe banging off the defender into the end zone for the touchdown. Monroe stacked up initially, kept the legs churning, and then spun back to the inside, not allowing the defense to get their arms on him. And again, just a great testament to Monroe and that offensive line, which at the very least was able to stand up the defenders and get a little bit of a push.
Nice job, nice determined run by Monroe. As you said, he was hit at about the 1.5 yard line, kept driving, spun. Almost, if you're a Sioux Falls fan, you might say maybe the knee was down. If you're a Rattler fan, absolutely no doubt he was in the end zone.
Petrie misses the point after, though. So the Rattlers will have to settle for just the 6, but 20-7 as they open up the second quarter with a rushing touchdown for Monroe, his 2nd of the evening.
Not the end of the world that you missed the extra point. Let's hope that Sawyer Petrie, who we got to talk to quite a bit after that Nebraska game, seems like possibly the nicest kid I've ever met. You don't want to see it carry on to this kickoff or the next time he has to try an extra point.
That has left the crowd here at Denny Sanford Premier Center a little anxious. Not often their team has trailed, as we noted, though, that the 68-game home win streak came to an end. May 27th, they fell to Wichita Falls, 36-21. In fact, their 2 losses this season were both at the hands of Wichita Falls.
When you lose one of every 70 games or so, I'll take that.
Yeah, head coach Curtis Riggs, 15th season, 2-15-36. It's a winning percentage of .863. So Corey Williams awaits the kick here from Sawyer Petrie. We'll see if Petrie continues with just the high kind of standard kickoff, and that's exactly what he does. Williams backing up to the dasher boards. Cutting back to his right across the 10. And wrapped up there at about the 14-yard line by Jamal Miles.
At the end of the day, you got to give credit to Corey Williams and this kickoff return unit for Sioux City. They're really good, okay? Because you couldn't kick the ball any better right there than Sawyer Petrie did. Almost out of the end zone, 9 yards deep. You make that entire kickoff return team stress a little bit, and yet they're still able to get it out to the 15-yard line.
Williams averaging about 21 yards per kick return. Had the kick return to get the only score of the evening thus far for Sioux Falls back in the first quarter. As Lorenzo Brown and company return to the field with that offense, working left to right. Out of the shotgun, Brown pressured, runs to his right. Brown at the 15, and he's tracked defensively by Adam Sauter. And Sauter drives him into the dasher board and up over the top. The fans get to keep the football, but they don't get to keep Lorenzo Brown as he tries to extract himself from between the seats and the dasher board. So Adam Sauter, little welcome there to Lorenzo Brown.
Played kind of a spy technique on Lorenzo Brown, and it's Sauter who made the tackle, 6'3", 215 pounds. Those dasher boards only come up to about your waist high. Sauter drove him in, the dasher boards and right on over, a la big-time wrestling.
They'll give him 3 on the carry. So sets up 2nd and 7. High snap, Brown handles, looks across the middle, pass is nearly picked off, should have been picked off. The veteran Arkeith Brown had that one all the way. Sauter was draped all over the intended receiver, but Arkeith Brown knows that is one that should have been his 6th interception of the season.
In these big games, you can't allow opportunities like that to slip away from you. What the Rattlers have done over this last half of the year is they've tried to bring more guys than you can block to rush the quarterback, and it really has made it difficult for all offenses to score against them.
Brown has only thrown 8 interceptions on the season. That would have been a big one, as you point out. Shotgun snapper Brown steps up, pocket breaks down, deep shot downfield, looking for Corey Williams. Pass sails incomplete, but there's a marker down in the secondary.
And I have a feeling this is going to give Sioux City a new set of downs.
Illegal contact. Defense number 11. 5-yard penalty. First down.
And indeed, you are correct.
And those are, again, 2 opportunities for the Rattlers. Possibility of interception, possibility of getting off the field with a field goal attempt, or them having to go for it on 4th down again.
That takes us under 12 minutes here in the first half. Arizona leading 20-7. Brown on the keeper, gets a block on the outside, but lots of white jerseys waiting for him. Leading the way was Joshua Gordon. Gordon put him in a bear hug and drove him back. And he had 2 other defenders right there along with him, including Justin Martin.
Very nice job by the Rattlers defense. They slide in along the line of scrimmage. They're not coming up too aggressively, because that's when Lorenzo Brown can make you miss and hurt you with a big play. They're sliding back and forth on the line of scrimmage, and there's a lot of white jerseys around the football.
Out.
That is Mike Tatum. 5'10", 170 out of Oxnard College.
Seeing the Sioux Fall teams do some things that they don't normally do with some of these penalties early in this football game.
Second and 10 now. Brown deep drop, Warrior receiver wide open, and this one will be picked off by Arkeith Brown. Back at the 5, gets up on the return, crossing the 15, 20, and then Brown immediately goes down. There is a marker down.
That's going to be Chris McAllister again. This fly motion.
Illegal defense. Number 31 out of his stance. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
He's seeing something out of the corner of his eye, and he's running to it, but you have to wait until the ball is snapped. And what absolutely makes you cringe is the fact that now you negated an interception.
Yeah, there's that fine line between instinct and scouting report. Your practices all week long and timing it just right. So 2nd and 11. Inside handoff Williams. Williams between 2 defenders, and Sauter just able to get his arms wrapped around the ankles of Corey Williams. Otherwise, Williams with that pickup by Williams. Snap was high to Brown. Brown fortunate to hang on. Manages to recover and fall forward, but that's the 3rd high snap in this series alone that Brown has had to contend with.
Lorenzo Brown did a nice job there. He is only 6 foot tall. There have been a couple right at his helmet and maybe a tad bit higher. That one almost got past him.
But how much of that do you think is a result of the pressure Arizona's getting? Jabari Buckley, the center, and it looks like better snap there. Pass complete on the route right to left by Williams. And Williams with the catch turns it into a Sioux Falls first down.
you usually don't see too many 6'6", 6'7" centers in football. Buckley is 6'6", 330, might be a tad bit taller. Justin Martin, the guy he's lined up against, is 6'2", 275, can get leverage on him on every snap. That can wear on a center's psyche.
Empty backfield here for Brown. Brown pressured, and Brown finally driven to the turf. It was Gordon who got there first, and then coming in to finish him off with Justin Shirk, along with the help of Edward Mosley. And that's just the 13th sack of the season given up by Sioux Falls.
They're trying to set up a little inside screen to offensive lineman release, but the Rattlers defensive lineman stood right there and blocked the passing lane, and therefore Lorenzo Brown had to eat the ball.
28th sack of the season registered by this Arizona defense. 2nd and 10. Boy, and a lot of markers flying for a championship game, especially here for the home team, Dale.
False start. Offense, number 23. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Well, what you hate is they're calling these illegal motions on your wide receiver. You're not listening to the snap count anyway. You're looking at the ball. You're not going until the ball is snapped, and that's 2 now on Mike Tatum.
So backs them up now and makes it 2nd and 25. Inside handoff Williams. Williams collides with the hard-charging defender, Arkeith Brown, who stops him in his tracks.
Tell you what, Corey Williams, the thing about him is he's obviously got speed, he's shifty, good vision, but he's not afraid to lower that shoulder and try to run you over. That makes it so hard as a defender because you're breaking down because you know he can go any which direction, and then he lowers that shoulder, and a lot of times you get knocked head over tea kettle.
Williams playing collegiately at Northwestern Oklahoma State. Had a stint with the BC Lions in the CFL. Brown with a deep drop, pressured again, steps up, throws, pass, batted down to the last second by Arkeith Brown. Corey Williams was ready to cradle in what he thought was going to be the touchdown strike from Brown, but it was the defender Arkeith Brown, who's been lurking in the secondary and making plays in a big way for this Rattlers defense, had the interception overturned as a result of the defensive penalty on Chris McAllister. But comes up with another big one there, brings up 4th down. They're going to bring on Tavatka for the long field goal attempt. A fake, and Brown getting up, markers down. I'm not sure they were completely set.
False start. Offense. No one was set. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Well, I don't know what they're arguing about. The center snapped the ball before everybody was ready. It doesn't matter if somebody blows a whistle or not.
Yeah, you had all the other linemen who were still moving. So Sierravodka backed up a little further here.
Well, Lorenzo Brown is the holder. I don't think you're going to fake it from this distance.
Kick on its way, and he pushes it wide right. So the Rattlers defense once again comes up with a huge stop. Despite having the interception overturned, they get the stop, turn him over on downs for the 2nd time this half. Arizona leading at 20-7. You're listening to live coverage of the United Bowl Championship here on 1580 AM, 99.3 FM, The Fanatic.
Being a great athlete isn't just about running the fastest or jumping the highest. It's also about doing the right thing. That's why Better Business Bureau has partnered with AIA to recognize Arizona high school athletes whose ethics stand out to coaches, teammates, and fans. Do you know an athlete who does the right thing on and off the field? Nominate them today for a BBB
should I play this legal first and then go to 10 seconds?
That's
oh, no, never mind. I'm going to play the legal at the end of this instead of a 10 second. So. Cool.
It's an extremely valuable resource. It's found in offices, buildings, and schools. It's a resource that speaks volume, yet it never makes a sound. Everyone recognizes it. Everyone uses it. Interestingly enough, it's rarely discussed. Croy Sign Systems. designers and manufacturers of architectural and ADA signs since 1981. Let Croy be your resource for identification, direction, and information. Give Croy Signs a call at 480-619-6070 or online at kroysigns.com.
Arizona's new home for sports is KQFN Tempe, 1580 AM, and K257 CD Phoenix, 99.3 FM. Arizona's new home for sports, The Fanatic.
.6:05 to go here in the first half from the Denny Sanford Premier Center in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. With Dale Hellestray, I'm Kevin Ray. John Crespin, our director engineer, also on hand here, giving you live coverage of the United Bowl Championship. Arizona leading the six-time champs from Sioux Falls, 20-7. Arizona with a stop has the football now. A running play, and it gets stacked up, and the ball carrier, Kendrick Harmon, driven back into the end zone. His forward progress, though, was halted at about the 4.
Tremendous penetration by that defensive line for Sioux Falls. And Mitchell, 6'6", 330 pounds in it. Nose guard right now. Guy you have got to pay attention to if you're this Rattlers offensive line.
Yeah, Mitchell, 5.5 sacks on the season. Sokol standing in his own end zone. Deep drop, scrambles back to his right, throws on the run, completes across the 7-yard line to Jamal Miles, who makes the catch and driven into the dasher boards there on the far side. It was Elijah Fields over on coverage along with Corey Henry to prevent Miles from escaping. May have been able to get enough for the first down. Now brings it 3rd and 7. Under 5 to go here in the first half. Late blitz comes, completes out of the backfield to Harmon. Harmon barrels over the oncoming defender and then driven into the dasher boards, and I believe he's going to be just shy of the first down. Let's see. Yeah, 4th and less than a yard to go, it looks like.
Again, I think this is playing situational football. You're up 2 scores. You miss the extra point. Let's see if we can get Petrie, who Coach Guy has a ton of respect for and a ton of faith in, back on track.
Petrie's had a terrific season. This will be a long one. Fake kick. And Arizona's going to come up empty.
Really nice job by Sioux Falls. They looked like they were kind of ready for it. I think Coach Guy's saying, you know what, we can roll the dice here. Defense is playing pretty well. That 2-score cushion helps us out.
Yeah, Darren Thomas, the holder, and of course the backup quarterback, started the first 4 games of the season. And so first big defensive play there for the Sioux Falls Storm. We'll see if their offense can capitalize now. Just under 3.5 to play here in the first half, trailing 20-7. Brown with the snap. Blitz by Shirk. Down he goes. Ball is loose, and Arizona's recovered. Ball is still live on the return. Into the end zone goes big number 95, Gordon, for the Arizona touchdown. And this crowd and this Sioux Falls team is absolutely stunned.
Once again, the Rattlers bring one more than Sioux Falls can block, and this time Justin Shirk, untouched, able to make Lorenzo Brown move a little bit. Ball gets knocked loose.
Edward Mosley was the one who jarred it loose from Brown, and then credit Gordon for not just settling to pounce on it, but alertly grabbed it, bounced up, and returned it about 27 yards for the Arizona score. And Sioux Falls wants to call a timeout. This is a team right now that is reeling.
You literally can hear a pin drop in here. It's gotten so quiet. It's one thing if, you're a 500 team at home or, you won a championship a few years ago, but these fans are used to seeing this team dominate the opposition, especially here at home.
Really, if you're joining us late, Sioux Falls had won 68 straight games. Now, to give you an idea of how long that was, you had to go back to 2010, the last time a Sioux Falls team lost on their home field. So, yeah, to say that they are accustomed to home wins is a big-time understatement.
2010, boy, I had a full head of hair and a flat belly back then. That's been a long time ago, Kevin Ray.
So following the timeout, this crowd remains at a hush as Petrie comes on with a point after. Thomas with the hold, and Petrie drives it through. And these fans aren't quite sure what it is they are witnessing, but right now their team in the hole 27-7 with 2:29 to go here in this first half.
Of the season, and obviously Sioux Falls came away with the victory there, but I think Coach Guy talked about it this week that, he didn't walk out of this arena discouraged. He walked out of this arena saying, if this is the best in the indoor football league, I think we can play with them. We'll get better as the season goes along. Young team, new concepts. Yes, the players needed to learn, but so did the coaches. Coaches needed to adjust, which they've been able to do as this season has gone along.
And stays upright until getting driven into the dasher boards there by Jamal Miles at about the 18-yard line.
Well, and I think if this Storm team is going to get back into this football game, this might be the most important drive of their season. We've seen a lot of sloppy play from them. I know their coaching staff's unaccustomed to it. Their fans are unaccustomed to it. Jumping off sides. Turnover return for a touchdown.
Let's see if Lorenzo Brown and his offensive unit can respond here. One timeout remaining. Brown pressured again, and Brown will go down for the third time this half. And another Rattler loses his helmet. That is Justin Martin. But a team that surrendered 12 sacks all season long has now given up 3 here in this half.
That's Justin Shirk working on Robbie Roos, the running back.
But he's a heck of a linebacker, and he's been blitzing.
Justin Shirk won that battle.
Seconds to play here in a half. Brown. Pass sails high over the intended receiver's head. That's Judd Harold. And Harold, I think, almost based on his lack of reaction, thought that maybe there was a receiver running behind him. The pass was so high.
Again, I think that's one of those things that this Storm team is unaccustomed to, is we're going to come down to the 1-minute warning. But there looks like there have been so many mental mistakes by this football team in the first half.
We have reached the 1-minute warning here in the first half of the United Bowl Championship. And it finds the Arizona Rattlers leading the 6-time champs 27-7. You're listening to live coverage of the United Bowl Championship here on the Fanatic, 1580 AM, 99.3 FM.
The Fanatic Open, driven by Lerner and Rowe and Money Radio 1510, benefiting St. Mary's Food Bank, is Friday, September 15th at the beautiful TPC Scottsdale Champions Golf Course. Get your foursome together and join us for cold beverages, including the popular 1580 brew, incredible tea prizes, tons of contest holes, and yes, golf, as well as a special post-party event. Space is limited for the Friday, September 15th, 8 a.m. Shotgun Scramble. Register today by clicking the
And Brown nowhere to go, and also give great credit to that secondary as Brown looking, and just finally had to eat the football and take the sack.
Timeout, Arizona. Third and final timeout of the half.
Have to give credit to this Rattlers defense. I talked about it when we came on the air about how good they've been this second half of the season. Tied for first in the league with 27 sacks coming into the game. They've obviously been the most dominant defense out there on the field tonight, and it just continued to harass Lorenzo Brown, who all we heard about all week was how elusive he was, how dangerous he was. Great feet, can beat you with his feet or his arm. Came in 24 rushing touchdowns, 685 yards. He's dynamic, and the Arizona Rattlers have done a nice job of negating him.
They're going to bring on Sawyer Petrie again. He's 17 of 35 on the season now. His long is 39, and this is well past 39. You're looking at 50-plus here. Has not hit from anywhere close to that range. The snap, kick on its way.
You're ready for a return.
Short, and it's going to provide a return opportunity. Miles cutting back. Has blockers. Miles at the 20. Miles cutting back 15, staying upright at the 10. Bangs his way across the 5 and gets stacked up there.
And that's one of those situations where versus Nebraska we saw this happen. Long field goal attempt. Remember, when you kick a field goal, you have 3 big offensive linemen up there to protect. You have another one behind them to help protect. And now they have to run 40 yards downfield. And
Arizona, despite not having any timeouts, will have a chance to tack some more points, even as little as a field goal with 20 seconds remaining. Keep in mind the clock does stop here after you get inside a minute. Sokol looking, throwing to his right across the middle, back of the end zone, caught for the touchdown. Amos with the grab and the Arizona score.
There's some Arizona Rattlers fans here. You can tell by the smattering of cheers from the crowd, because there are not a bunch of Sioux Falls fans into this football game right now. Amos, 19 touchdowns coming into the game. What a great catch in traffic, coming over the middle, knowing he's going to take a shot. Concentrates on the football, comes down with the catch.
Snap was low. Thomas handles cleanly, though. Sets it up. Petrie drives it through. And Arizona now with a 34-7 lead over the Storm of Sioux Falls with 14 seconds remaining in this first half. And I didn't think it could get quieter than it did 5 minutes ago, but
what you know what it reminds me of, Kevin, when we walked over here around 11:30 this morning, and just to kind of walk around and see where we were going to be located and all that. That's about how quiet it was then as it is now. Well, it's going to be very interesting. Obviously, if you're Sioux Falls, your championship football team, I can't imagine that they're going to lay down and quit, but you can definitely see body language that is not very good if you're a Storm fan. And what you're kind of hoping against hope is that Corey Williams maybe ignites you here with a touchdown return, and then you get the ball coming out in the second half. And remember, in this league, things can change very, very quickly.
Yeah, the onside kick opportunities present extra possessions on a regular basis, though we don't see quite as much of it in this league as we did in the AFL. Here's a kick from Petrie. High and short, collected by Williams at the 1. Cuts back to his right at the 10, off a blocker at the 15, up the near side, cuts back to his left, and finally dragged down there in midfield by Kendrick Harmon. That leaves 8 seconds on the game clock for Lorenzo Brown and company to work with. So plenty of time to take a shot or two to the end zone. They do have one timeout remaining as well, but it certainly can't be any kind of a slow developing play. And right now he's just thinking about trying to stay upright, having been sacked the last 2 times he's taken the snap.
That's what I was going to say. When you talk about there's plenty of time to run a couple plays, well, there is. But there hasn't been plenty of time to throw the football the way this pass rush from the Rattlers has harassed Lorenzo Brown this entire first half.
So they will load up the left side, top side of that offense. Brown flushed out to his right, throws on the run, and ball nearly picked off as Brown driven into the turf again. Justin Shirk was over there. Sauter almost came up with the Rattler interception.
Talked about Justin Shirk and the way he's come on. He's been a key component second half of this year. 53 tackles coming into this game, 10.5 tackles for loss, 7.5 sacks on the season, and a bunch of quarterback hits.
So that leaves 3 seconds left, and Coach Riggs for Sioux Falls is going to bring Sierra out there for another long field goal attempt. Snap down, kick on its way, and this one no good. Pushed it just wide right, and that ends up being the final play of the first half. And what a half it has been for the Arizona Rattlers. First year in the IFL, and right now enjoy a commanding 34-7 lead over the 6-time champs here in Sioux Falls. We'll step aside for a quick timeout. Back with a quick first half recap after these messages.
Being a great athlete isn't just about running the fastest or jumping the highest. It's also about doing the right thing. That's why Better Business Bureau has partnered with AIA to recognize Arizona high school athletes whose ethics stand out to coaches,
Sure can, no problem. 3 minutes.
Do you know an athlete who does the right thing on and off the field? Nominate them today for a BBB Ethical Athlete Scholarship at athlete.arizonabbb.org. That's athlete.arizonabbb.org.
This week at Rick Bronson's House of Comedy on High Street, it's Mike Dambra from Edmonton and New York Comedy Festivals and voted funniest person in Rochester.
You ever drive really late at night, pull up next to somebody and look at them and they're so damn ugly you jump? Then you realize it's your own reflection in the window? On the way here I saw a scary road sign that said, "Warning, prison area, please do not pick up a hitchhiker." I didn't think that was funny. Guy in the back seat was laughing his ass off, though.
Get tickets and be in the know with every show at houseofcomedy.net.
You don't usually get a stock tip from a 16-year-old, but I'm here to tell you about a different kind of stock. It's called Better Futures, a stock for social change that's not about making money. Instead, you invest to help students like me go to college. This is beyond a simple donation. It's the opportunity for America to invest in its kids and take an active stake in the future of the country. The return on your investment isn't money. What you get back is knowing you protected our potential. So one day, that potential can grow up to become surgeons and architects, executives and engineers, people who can change the future just by being a part of it. My name is Alicia, and I am your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste. but a wonderful thing to invest in. A public service announcement brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier.
My daughter Brooklyn was also a motivation for me to go back to school.
Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off.
At age 26, Kareem finished his high school diploma.
I could not have done it alone. I feel like if I didn't have anyone to push me, I wouldn't even bother to do it. I got one milestone down the drain, and now I got to work on the next. I see the future is really bright for me. I feel like it doesn't matter the age, as long as you go back and get it done.
Yeah, no problem.
High school diploma is just added to the
30 seconds
confidence,
now,
and
so
now
I'll
I
go ahead
feel
and add something.
unstoppable.
No one gets a diploma alone. You have more support than you realize. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Today we decided to walk to school. The light counted. 15, 14,
41, 31, 13. We
took a left on Carroll Street. Danny's smart.
30 seconds.
Gets distracted.
I
Realized he forgot his homework. I hope he doesn't have another bad day at school.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on
20
their side.
seconds.
That's why there's Understood.org, a free resource for the parents of the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues. Go from misunderstanding to Understood.org. Brought to you by Understood and the Ad Council.
1580 The Fanatic, Arizona's new home for football.
Halftime here in the United Bowl Championship. Alongside Dale Hillis, Kevin Ray, giving you live coverage of the United Bowl Championship from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, here at the home of the 6-time champs, the Sioux Falls Storm, Denny Sanford Premier Center, a team and an organization that saw a 68-game home win streak come to an end back in May. And Dale, we talked about what this team has and this crowd has been accustomed to, and feeling almost like it's a certainty when they come to a game here that they're going to see a win. What they witnessed in the first half is something that I'm not sure some of these fans have ever seen. Watching their home team give up 34 points and only put 7 on the scoreboard.
It's been really, really interesting to watch their reaction. I tend to focus more on this Arizona Rattler team and what a tremendous effort that they put forth in the first half. I told you I was concerned about them with the pregame and being out on the field for 40 minutes before kickoff. All those emotions, young football team, how are they going to respond in a big game like this with distractions and things that you don't normally run into? And boy, did they pass that test with flying colors.
You know, and with the exception of allowing the kick return as the only points, that's the only blemish, and that came 90 seconds into the game. And since that time, this defense, the special teams unit, everybody has been playing at certainly a championship level. But you go back to the second quarter specifically for this Arizona defense, 3 sacks on Brown against a unit that had surrendered 8 all season, or 12 all season long.
As you take a look at that, and there's been 3 sacks, but there's been multiple hits on Lorenzo Brown. There's no timing between Brown and his receivers, this Arizona Rattler defense. And yes, the guys who have the sacks, Justin Martin has one. He's a nose tackle. Nose tackles don't get a whole lot of sacks. Justin Shirk has 1.5, and then Joshua Gordon got the other half a sack. But a lot of guys taking shots on the quarterback. McAllister, Martin, Gordon, Mosley all played up front. Justin Shirk and Adam Sauter harassing the quarterback. So it's just been really fun to watch this Rattler team play here in the first half.
Lorenzo Brown, last year's United Bowl Championship MVP, is just 1 of 7, that completion being a 5-yarder to Corey Williams. We will step aside for a timeout. When we come back, we'll take a look at some of the other numbers for this Arizona offense. You are listening to live coverage of the United Bowl Championship with the Arizona Rattlers leading the Sioux Falls Storm 34-7. Back with more on the Fanatic after this.
There are plenty of companies offering to buy your home to avoid the so-called hassle of being on the market. This is Dylan Bucknavage from the Jason Mitchell Group, voted the #1 team in Arizona. And we will not just use our industry-leading systems to market your home for top dollar, but we'll also provide you with an option to sell instantly for cash at a predetermined price. Explore the options you deserve at homesforsalepHX.com/startpacking. That's homesforsalepHX.com/startpacking.
I'm attorney Kevin Rowe. After you've been hurt in a car wreck, call Lerner & Rowe immediately. Evidence may get lost, witnesses may forget, and the insurance company may begin working against you the moment you call them. The longer you wait to call us, the less we'll be able to help you. Hurt in a wreck and need a check? Make one call, that's all, to 977-1900 for a free consultation. We're available 24/7. If you can't come to us, we'll come to you.
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
2701 East Camelback Road, Phoenix.
Music is a bridge between the material and the spiritual. My name is Harvey Lauer, and I'm 82. As a blind person, you have to be aware that nobody can tell you what you can or can't do. You really have to try things. My folks got me a little radio in 1940, and that was the best Christmas present I ever got. When I was 11 years old is when I started to play music, play the piano, and then the accordion, and then the cello. My wife, who was also blind, was a good cook. When she died, that's when I started Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Unexpected reactions to smart financial decisions brought to you by feedthepig.org.
Well, I finally did it. I opened a 401k.
So you're giving up? Just like that?
Giving up on what?
I'm getting an inheritance from a distant relative.
Don't you think if there were a billionaire in the family, we'd know about it by now?
Listen to me. We are one phone call away from riding horses on our own private polo grounds. One call from christening yachts, having a butler, using summer as a verb.
How do you figure?
Look, everyone's got a rich uncle somewhere. It's statistics. So the best thing you can do is just prepare for the inevitable.
Right, which is why I thought maybe it would be smart to take control of my finances. You know, start using a budget, get out of debt, set some retirement goals.
Budgets? Debt? You watch your mouth. Retirement shouldn't be a goal for us. It should be a way of life.
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
1580 The Fanatic, Arizona's new home for football.
Back at the Denny Sanford Premier Center. Our coverage continues at the United Bowl Championship with the Arizona Rattlers leading the Sioux Falls Storm 34-7 with Dale Hellis-Ray, Kevin Ray, and we said at the beginning of this broadcast today that the battle in the trenches was really going to go a long way in determining the outcome of this game, and has that come to fruition in that first half. How is it Arizona is being able to get so much consistent pressure snap after snap against what has been arguably one of the best offensive lines all season long?
The one thing that I have seen from this Rattler team that I don't see from other teams, and I can't understand why they haven't at least tried it, the Rattlers will continue to bring one more than you can block. And with their cover guys downfield, the Rattlers can afford to do that and play a lot of man coverage in behind that, but you're going to get to the quarterback, and if you don't get to the quarterback, you're going to hit the quarterback. And it's just amazing to see it happen week in and week out and not see teams make adjustments.
Yeah, this is a defensive front that has absolutely wreaked havoc, led by Chris McAllister, Justin Shirk, Edward Mosley, jarring the ball free on the quarterback, Lorenzo Brown, setting up the 25-yard touchdown return by Joshua Gordon. And then, of course, Justin Martin in there as well. The few times that Brown has tried to run it, even with Williams, that defensive front almost seems like they're duplicated on the edge.
you take a look, and we're just glancing at the stats. We got those handed off to us, and to get back to the offensive and defensive lines real quick for the Rattlers. Hey, this Sioux Falls defensive front is all it's cracked up to be. The Rattlers have ran the ball 11 times for only 25 yards. I know some of that's been down in the red zone, but there are no easy runs out there against this defense that the Rattlers are facing. So we wonder, Cody Sokol, how's he going to play in a big game like this if he's needed? Because let's face it, really hasn't been needed for a while. They've been able to run the ball and chew up clock and just physically dominate other teams. They kind of need him today. How does he respond? 6 for 7, 2 touchdowns, very efficient. And we talked about in the first half, just the maturity level from seeing him in his first few starts to where at the first sign of pressure, boy, he's out of that pocket and he's going to lower his shoulder and try and gain an extra yard or two, to now buying a little extra time in that pocket while the eyes are downfield and making this Sioux Falls defense pay.
Yeah, and your point well taken. You go back to that opening drive where we saw Jamal Miles wide open back of the end zone, but Sokol also found a receiver in Amos who ran the short route to get the first down. So really, as the old cliche goes, taking what the defense is giving him, playing at a very high level, and playing like a guy who, again, no longer is considered a rookie in this league.
And being coachable, because that's something that Coach Guy has been preaching for the weeks. You don't have to go for the home run. The check down's there. Take the check down. Let's move the chains. Give ourselves another 3 or 4 downs to try and make a big play, but don't try to force it.
So if you are Sioux Falls and you're going to get the football to begin the third quarter, what adjustment do you anticipate them making? What can they do in order to try and at least nullify or negate that pressure?
So I'm not sure. Do you have a better blocking back? I don't know if they have that or not. Or are you going to get some dump passes to just free release him, get him the ball quickly and see if he can't make some guys miss in the open field. But understand, when we hear about this Lorenzo Brown, how dangerous and exciting and dynamic he is, his arm is probably the least dynamic of all his traits, and now he's going to be forced to do that. Expect some shots down the field. He's barely missed on a couple. Expect some onside kicks, taking some chances. Because, hey, we can lose 68-14, or a couple of these chances come through, maybe we get back in this football game.
All right, we will find out shortly. We will step aside for a timeout. Halftime here in the United Bowl Championship from the Denny Sanford Premier Center in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And the Rattlers with the halftime lead, 34-7.
Be a customer for life. Experience it for yourself. The time is perfect. Get yourself in that new truck or SUV that you've had your eye on. Right now at Liberty, they're taking $6,000 off MSRP on the 2017 Acadia and over $9,000 off MSRP on the 16 Sierra 2500 diesel. They're conveniently located right off the 101, 87th Ave, West Bell Road, and online at libertygmcaz.com. It's Liberty GMC. We are professional grade.
Do you really know the score regarding your personal finances? Your credit score, that is. Many consumers tend to sit on the bench and don't have all the facts about personal credit reports. But the National Foundation for Credit Counseling wants you to get in the game, review your credit report, and understand how to improve it. Federal law entitles you to one free credit report from each of the main credit reporting agencies each year, and ordering just one is not enough. You need to see if there are any differences among the 3 major credit reporting agencies. Fixing mistakes can go a long way toward improving your credit score and improving your financial health. You need to request the reports either online, by phone, or by mail. And again, they're available free of charge. The National will help improve your score. For more information about credit reports, call the NFCC at 1-800-388-2227. This has been a public service message from the NFCC.
Corporal John Vale was injured on patrol in Kuwait.
The truck flipped. The vehicle landed on me. I realized I can't move my legs. I'm looking for one person, one contact that can help me.
When John arrived at the VA, there was someone. Stephen Bush of Paralyzed Veterans of America. He helped John with his claim and became his advocate to get him back into life.
When I approach someone that's newly injured, I want them to feel comfortable that they're not alone.
For over 65 years, Paralyzed Veterans of America, through their National
30
Service
seconds.
Officers, has helped hundreds of thousands of veterans get the care and benefits they've earned. And their service is free to America's veterans and their families. If you need help with a claim or just navigating the system, contact us at pva.org. Paralyzed Veterans of America, changing lives, building futures.
I'll be ready.
1580 The Fanatic, Arizona's new home for football.
You're live.
Back at the Denny Sanford Premier Center here in beautiful Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Kevin Ray, Dale Hellestrand giving you live coverage of the United Bowl Championship between the Arizona Rattlers and the Sioux Falls Storm. And we're learning quite a bit about the game setup here for the Sioux Falls Storm in our first ever time here. It was originally a game slated for a 5:05 kick. We learned about an hour and 45 minutes before the game that it would be moved to a 5:15 kick that would ultimately be about a 5:22 kick. Halftime was set up as 20 minutes. There's 19 seconds left on the clock, and right now there's about 200 mini footballs that are scattered across the gray turf here at Denny Sanford Premier Center. So whatever the clock says, whatever the game rundown says, we, along with our talented engineer and director, Sean Crespin, have had to be nimble, Dale Hellestrand.
Flying by the seat of our pants. Yeah, it's like, okay, there's 20 seconds left on the clock, and all of a sudden I see all these little white objects getting thrown on the field, and they put a little sign out at midfield. I guess if your football lands on it, you maybe win a prize of some sort. At least they have more than a couple people out there picking up the mini footballs. My question to you is former quarterback Kevin Ray.
You give me far too much quarterback credit. I was never a quarterback.
Could you make
in my backyard? Yes, but
could you make a throw from our booth to center field with the mini football right now without tearing your ulnar rotator cuff?
Yeah, I'd like to think I could, but I'm guessing it's one of those really light footballs, so which you have a tendency to overcompensate.
Yes.
So, yeah, I would want to feel the weight of the football before I said with great certainty that I could do it. But
see, I would prognosticate, number one, shoulder injury, and number two, not coming within 20 yards of center field. Or the center of the field.
And certainly the if you're putting money on the board, then yeah, you may want to lay it on that side. But the Sioux Falls Storm were late in coming back out onto the field. They did not come out that we could see until there was just under a minute remaining on the clock. So I'm sure a long, lengthy, and most likely heated conversation at the half. As Petrie gets this second half started, Corey Williams moves under it from a yard deep. Crossing the 5, hits a 10, cuts back 15, and then pounded there as he started to accelerate at about the 17-yard line. Nice job defensively getting downfield there on special teams coverage for the Rattlers. It was Jamal Miles, Anthony Amos again.
The one thing this Rattler team has done so well, and I think it's so important, is when they've had a big lead going into halftime. I think that first offensive and first defensive series of the second half sets the tone. You do not want to give your opponent any semblance of them getting back into the game, and the Rattlers so far this season have really done a nice job with that. Let's see if they can do it again tonight.
And we'll see what the strategy and game plan is here in this second half for Lorenzo Brown and the Sioux Falls Storm. Play clock down to 2, gets a snap, quick throw, and it is listed as incomplete. You could see the receiver battling to try to hang on. It was Judd Harold, a big 6'5", 220-pound target out of the University of Mountain Union. But the pass, again, low, and Dale, you talked about this early on and also at half, just the pressure that Brown has faced has forced him into bad quick throws when he hasn't needed to, and that was a perfect example. Inside. They'll mark him back at about the 17-yard line, looks like.
One thing the Rattlers were going to do with their defensive ends is they were going to go hit Lorenzo Brown, whether he had the football or not, because, again, they felt he was the most dangerous offensive weapon for the Storm team.
McAllister named first team All-IFL earlier this week. Loss of 5, sets up 2nd and 15 now. Rattlers bring pressure. Brown with a deep throw and nearly picked off, but instead it's Harold who takes it out of the hands of Bubba Chapman for the Sioux Falls touchdown.
And
I'm not sure how Chapman missed that one.
Bubba Chapman is sitting there shaking his head in disbelief. He did such a nice job reading Lorenzo's eyes, ball just over his outstretched arms, and you talked about Judd Harold. He's a 6'5" receiver, and then Bubba Chapman's only 5'11". Nice job by Harold coming down with the ball, but I think Chapman thought he had his 9th interception of the year right there.
Harold had a couple of touchdown catches in the rout in the conference championship last week, and finally gets the first offensive points on the board for Sioux Falls. There's a little extracurricular activity taking place after the point. Had been lulled into a deep, quiet-like state after Arizona had stormed out to that 34-7 lead.
Kind of in hibernation up here in South Dakota. A lot warmer here than I thought it would be this time of year. But now what you've got to expect if you're the Arizona Rattlers, you got to expect onside kicks. Anytime they score, you got to expect an onside kick. 34-14. I guess maybe 11 minutes, 44 seconds left in the third quarter. If you're Curtis Riggs, you could say, you know what, let's kick it down there, play defense, see if we can stop them one time. But I would just be on high alert. I know the coaching staff for the Rattlers, the one thing that they had noticed coming into this game, I don't know if everybody thought this would be much closer, was the fact that last year nor this year did the Storm attempt an onside kick in the regular season. Last year's championship game, they did, and they recovered it.
Sierra Vodka with a squib kick, high bounce at the 10. Miles moves in under at the 4, breaking to his left, lost his footing, went down, and then he gets hammered into the turf on special teams coverage there by Carlton Watkins. So give credit to Miles just to hang on to the football right there.
He did take a shot. Remember, Miles isn't the biggest guy in the world out there, 5'11", 180 pounds. But he's done a nice job. He hasn't ran the ball tonight. But boy, on that fly sweep, and the Rattlers really figured they were going to have to do some of that tonight. He has 42 carries, over 200 yards, almost 5 yards per carry, and 9 touchdowns.
Boy, and how about this? And this is what
timeout.
I think
Sioux Falls
has people scratching their heads more than anything. The first half penalties, and now Sioux Falls was short a defender. And with Arizona ready to go, they had to burn an early timeout here in the third quarter. That'll leave them with 2 remaining the rest of this game.
And this is the first play of the series. One like there's an injury, one like those are the things that make you shake your head. Obviously, Sioux Falls cares about this football game. It's a very important football game, but sometimes, you can get so amped up that you just don't do your normal routine, and this does not look like a normal Storm football performance.
Yeah, it looked like Brandon Pegues was the player late coming onto the field, but you could see 2 or 3 of the Sioux Falls defenders looking back at their little holding pen or corral, as it's often called, waving on, knowing that they needed an extra defender, but ultimately had to burn the timeout. Here's a toss play to Kendrick Harmon, jumping over one defender. Harmon going airborne and leads to a pickup of a couple.
When you look at this defense plot, Davis lines up at nose tackle. He's a second-team All-IFL guy. You look at the rest of this group, 4 or 5 guys, either first team or second team All-IFL.
Harmon remains in the backfield. Miles in motion on the play action. Sokol steps up, bounces to his left, loses the football. Boy, it certainly looked as though he was down, but the football is determined to be fumbled. Sokol trying to get up, and the defender not allowing him to get up.
Well, that's the
boy, it sure looked like Sokol was down before that ball came out.
Seeing the replay here, the ball was knocked loose, and those are the things that can allow this Storm team to get into this game we talked about in the open. The Rattlers would have to be able to run the football, play great defense, and not have turnovers to breathe new life into this Storm team.
Well, that is their 9th fumble recovery of the season, and so now all of a sudden Sioux Falls with already 1 score on the board and a great field position here and a chance to put 14 quick points on the board in a matter of minutes. Brown trying to run up the middle on this Arizona defense, managing maybe a yard in the carry before he's stacked up there. Under 10.5 to go here in the third.
Coach Guy said that the Storm team was plus 28 in the takeaway giveaway category, which just is absolutely obscene in any league of football.
Yeah, and Arizona, meanwhile, -7. Inside handoff, it goes to Williams. Williams trying to find the edge. He gets a little room, running to his left. Leans forward, takes it down inside the 10 to the 9, so it'll bring up third, and we'll call it a long 4.
Corey Williams is fun to watch play football. How he can get from running straight to the sidelines to going directly upfield as quick as he does without hurting himself just mystifies me.
So 3rd and 4 here. Brown looking to his right. Sends his receivers in motion. Brown with time. Brown flushed out. Brown goes down and just does get rid of the football. And the officials are going to confer here. And well, he threw that one well into the stand. There was
illegal contact. Defense number 4. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Well, that's going to be charged against Nathan Lindsay. I didn't even see a penalty marker on the field.
Unless it was laying on that. Well, now it's back here in the.
Yeah, he was defending. He was defending Judd Harold, and the marker was thrown basically right against the dasher board where the infraction took place. So it'll be 1st and goal to go from inside the 5 here for Sioux Falls.
Automatic first down, and you talk about. You score here, and you're talking 34-21 game, and you barely got your popcorn and Coke and back in your seat.
Direct snap to the receiver in motion that time. That was Mike Tatum. Tatum, a 5'10", 170-pound receiver out of Oxnard College. Rattlers did well to defend that. In fact, dropped him for about a 3-4 yard loss.
Boy, it's many instances as we've seen high snaps tonight from this Storm offense. I'm not so sure if that'd be one of my early second half play calls if I'm Curtis Riggs.
Moves it back to the 7-yard line now. Brown on the toss to his running back, Rouse, who punches it in for the Storm touchdown. Robbie Rouse, they call him the Mighty Mouse. 5'6", 190 out of Fresno State University.
Good old-fashioned option. You run the ball down the line of scrimmage, read the defensive end. This time Brown pitches it to Rouse. Nobody touches him as he goes into the end zone. And ladies and gentlemen, this United Bowl has turned into a football game.
Sierra comes on with the point after. The kick is up and good. And indeed it has. 7:25 to play here in the third. Sioux Falls putting 14 points on the board. In just over 7 minutes, they have pulled a little closer. Arizona still leads it, though, 34-21 here in the United Bowl Championship on the Fanatic.
Arizona's new home for sports is KQFN Tempe, 1580 AM, and K257CD Phoenix, 99.3 FM. Arizona's new home for sports, the Fanatic.
Being a great athlete isn't just about running the fastest or jumping the highest. It's also about doing the right thing. That's why Better Business Bureau has partnered with AIA to recognize Arizona high school athletes whose ethics stand out to coaches, teammates, and fans. Do you know an athlete who does the right thing on and off the field? Nominate them today for a BBB Ethical Athlete Scholarship at athlete.arizonabbb.org. That's athlete.arizonabbb.org.
This week at Rick Bronson's House of Comedy on High Street, it's Mike Dambra from Edmonton and New York Comedy Festivals and voted funniest person in Rochester.
You ever drive really late at night, pull up next to somebody and look at them and they're so damn ugly you jump? Then you realize it's your own reflection in the window? On the way here I saw a scary road sign that said, "Warning, prison area, please do not pick up a hitchhiker." I didn't think that was funny. The guy in the back seat was laughing his ass off, though.
Get tickets and be in the know with every show at houseofcomedy.net.
1580 The Fanatic.
United Bowl Championship live coverage here on the Fanatic from the Denny Sanford Premier Center here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota with Dale Hellestray. I'm Kevin Ray. 34-21 our score. Arizona with the lead, but all of a sudden Sioux Falls has shown signs of life with 14 quick points to begin this third quarter, Dale.
There's no doubt that the Storm are true champions. Understand, you don't win 6 in a row by accident. You know this team has character. You knew they weren't going to give up. But now they've got new life, and so does this crowd.
Here's a squib kick, moving past Jamal Miles and bouncing out of the back of the end zone. He has kept Jamal Miles off balance with an array of kicks.
Talked about both teams having those dynamic kickoff returners. It's always interesting to me because if the ball goes out on the fly, then the ball started on the 20-yard line. If it bounces out, meaning it hit the field of play, then they put it on the 5-yard line.
Arizona, quarterback Cody Sokol fumbling on the last series. Darrell Monroe in the game in the backfield. Takes a handoff, running straight ahead, and Monroe going nowhere as he is grabbed immediately. Elijah Fields got a hand on him along with help from his teammate Tyler Knight, the big linebacker who he talked about in the first half.
What the Storm defense is doing 5 guys in the box. Well, you only have 3 blockers. You can only block 3. So that means there's 2 extra guys in there, meaning that this Rattler offense is going to have to throw the ball a little bit to win this game.
Monroe, wide left, completing it short. Reception there by Antonio Vaughn, the 5'9" wideout out of Old Dominion. But short of the first down marker, so it's going to bring up a big third down here in this third quarter for the Rattlers. Looking at 3rd and 4.
Really is a big third down because you don't pick it up here. Now Coach Guy's forced to make a decision. Do I attempt a field goal? Possibly give them good field position? Do I go for it and don't make it? Good field position? They need this first down.
Snap a little to the right, pass batted down into the hands of the defender and into the end zone for the interception return. My goodness.
A little of what the Rattlers defense has done. Brought an extra guy. Tyler Knight, number 3, comes unblocked because you only have 3 guys with an empty backfield. Those 3 offensive linemen can block. He jumps up right in front of Cody Sokol. Ball bounces over his head.
Brandon Pegues. Wow.
I'm sure most of these Sioux Falls fans are glad that they didn't leave, and I'm sure more than one of them talked about leaving at halftime.
Sirvatka for the point after. And what a turn of events we are witnessing here.
This is the same type of defense that the Rattlers run when teams go empty backfield against them. They bring Justin Shirk. Well, this time it's Tyler Knight, who's only 6 foot tall, but was running right in the throwing lane of Cody Sokol. And then that's why that football is shaped oblong like it is. It takes some very, very funny bounces.
Well, and Dale, you had to know that certainly Sioux Falls was going to respond and put some points on the board, but to see them put 21 on the board in the span of about 9 minutes, that's what has to be a little alarming if you're Coach Kevin Guy.
Hey, well, how did it happen, Kevin? Well, what do we talk about? You can't turn the ball over. What's happened on 2 of those drives? Turnovers by the Rattlers. And so you look at that, you look at their offense came out from the opening kickoff, drove it down. Those turnovers are what changed the momentum of this football game.
That interception, by the way, the first of the season for Brandon Pegues, and not only the interception, but turns it into the pick 6. And this crowd has most certainly come to life now. Scooped up by Amos at the 9, returning to his left across the 20, hits midfield 25, and then driven to the dasher boards.
Was that their kicker?
I believe that was Sirvatka, who just absolutely blistered Amos, the Rattlers return man.
Sirvatka, my goodness, what a great tackle. Lowers his shoulder, explodes his hips, lifts Amos off the field of play. You know you're jacked up when your kicker's making tackles like that.
Now the cowbells are out. The thunder sticks are being clapped and slapped together. Here's the inside handoff to Harmon. Marker down in the secondary. And all of a sudden, this defensive front for Sioux Falls is
illegal defense. Number 2, not mirroring. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Well, they catch a break there as that infraction is on Rashard Smith.
And Smith not too happy about it. I love some of the terms in the Indoor Football League, not marrying up to it. Didn't know that'd be a penalty.
Miles in motion along with Amos. Running play to the left, Harmon. And trying to run to that short side of the field. Just not a lot of room there as he's driven into the dashboard short of the 10.
What they're having a hard time doing right now, talking about the Arizona Rattlers, is blocking the nose guard for the Storm defense. That time was Claude Davis, who talked about on 6'5", 270-pound, second team all-indoor football league. There's a backside scoop that they use, and they are not blocking him right now, and he's wreaking all sorts of havoc.
They're going to have to work quickly here. Play clock's already at 3. And Kevin Guy recognizing that. They had one play call in, and then Guy calling Sokol back over quickly and forcing the hand of Coach Kevin Guy there to call the timeout. We will do the same. It comes with 3:31 to go here in the third quarter. And the Rattlers, who once led 34-7, now lead it, but that lead has been trimmed to 34-28. The United Bowl Championship coverage continues after these messages.
You can buy your home to avoid the so-called hassle of being on the market. This is Dylan Bucknavage from the Jason Mitchell Group, voted the #1 team in Arizona. And we will not just use our industry-leading systems to market your home for top dollar, but we'll also provide you with an option to sell instantly for cash at a predetermined price. Explore the options you deserve at homesforsalephx.com/startpacking. That's homesforsalephx.com/startpacking. Okay, got it.
I'm attorney Kevin Rowe. After you've been hurt in a car wreck, call Lerner & Rowe immediately. Evidence may get lost, witnesses may forget, and the insurance company may begin working against you the moment you call them. The longer you wait to call us, the less we'll be able to help you. Hurt in a wreck and need a check? Make one call, that's all, to 977-1900 for a free consultation. We're available 24/7. If you can't come to us, we'll come to you.
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
2701 East Camelback Road, Phoenix.
1580 The Fanatic, Arizona's new home for football.
34-28, Arizona leading here in the United Bowl Championship, looking at 2nd and 5. Play action, Sokol with time, rifles a pass, looking for Jamal Miles, but pass was incomplete. Looks like Miles almost stopped on the comeback route, would have made the catch and been enough for the first down, but Sokol throwing a little shorter with the defender shading Miles that time.
Good coverage by Smith. There's a reason why he's first team all-indoor football league. Having a nice battle over there, but you're talking about pressure starting to build on this Rattlers offense right now.
Looking at 3rd and 5 now. Pressure comes. Sokol unable to escape, and down he goes. I mean, quickly coming off the edge that time was big Corey Henry. And Sokol did not have any chance at all to escape or get rid of the football. That's the 5th sack of the season for Corey Henry. 6'4", 255 out of Florida Atlantic University. That brings on now Sawyer Petrie for what will be, looks like about a 37-yard attempt. Snap, kick on its way, and he pushes it wide left. Had more than enough leg, but he couldn't knock it through.
We go back to that last pass attempt by Cody Sokol. Corey Henry, according to the coaching staff of the Rattlers, the Storm's best pass rusher. He's working against Glenn Hazley. Beat him to the outside with some quickness. Only 255 pounds. This team likes to rush the passer. You look at the guys across the line of scrimmage, 240 pounds, Richardson, Teguise 240, Davis at 265, Henry at 255. The only big guy they have is Mitchell at 330 pounds, but the rest of those guys want to get upfield and get to the quarterback.
The Rattlers, who had 3 sacks in the first half, Sioux Falls getting their first there. Brown on the keeper. Nice ball fake, and boy, looked like Arizona was going to bottle him up and drop him for a loss, but somehow Brown escaped and got upfield and stacked up short of the 10. Just crafty run there by Lorenzo Brown.
Now this defense needs to step up right here and stop this momentum the Storm have developed here in the third quarter.
Yeah, it has been all Sioux Falls here in this third quarter with 1:20 left to play in it. Snap was high, handoff. Williams gets stacked up as he tries to drive to the yard marker.
Another thing that this Rattler team kind of took exception to, coaching staff for the Storm, mainly Curtis Riggs, talking about, that they're an athletic team, the Rattlers. The Rattlers are athletic. And Coach Guy and his staff kind of takes that as athletic means we're kind of a finesse team, which means we're not physical. And Coach Guy believes his team is as physical as there is that plays an indoor football.
3rd and 4. Little toss play to Rouse. Rouse trying to get off the edge, but unable to do so. That is because waiting for it was Chris McAllister, who just put those big meat hooks onto him, wrapped him up with those strong arms, and drove him to the turf. A loss there of a couple, so that brings up 4th and 6 now, with the final seconds of the third quarter winding down, the final 12.
I can't tell you how good of a play that was by McAllister. He's 250, 255 pounds. He takes the inside gap away and is quick and strong and fast enough to get outside and make a tackle on a guy who's only 190 pounds. Tremendous effort on his part.
Coaches constantly talk about winning the quarter. Well, the home team, Sioux Falls, certainly won the third, putting 21 points on the board. So we head to the fourth here in the United Bowl Championship. Arizona leading it, though, 34-28. Our coverage continues on the Fanatic, 1580 AM, 99.3 FM, after this timeout.
The Fanatic Open, driven by Lerner and Rowe and Money Radio 1510, benefiting St. Mary's Food Bank, is Friday, September 15th at the beautiful TPC Scottsdale Champions Golf Course. Get your foursome together and join us for cold beverages, including the popular 1580 brew, incredible tea prizes, tons of contest holes, and yes, golf, as well as a special post-party event. Space is limited for the Friday, September 15th, 8 a.m. Shotgun Scramble. Register today by clicking the Fanatic Open tab at 1580thefanatic.com.
The Danky's 1580 Summer Meal Deal is now available at Danky's award-winning barbecue in Phoenix. Thursday through Saturday, late night 8 to 10. Take advantage of this amazing offer. 4 signature slider sandwiches, fresh cut fries, a pint of cold Fanatic 1580 brew, and a special souvenir beer mason jar. Or choose 4 award-winning smoked fried drums, fries, 1580 brew, and a special souvenir mason jar for just $15.80. Danky's is located on the southwest corner of Bell and Tatum next to Walmart and at dankysbarbecue.com.
Brown Richmond 96 double.
1580 The Fanatic, Arizona's new home for football.
Well, you always hear coaches say it's a 4-quarter game. And that has never been more true here today in this United Bowl Championship. The Arizona Rattlers winning the first 2 quarters, leading at the half 34-7. But it was Sioux Falls who put 21 points on the board in the third. So we head to the fourth quarter here, the Denny Sanford Premier Center in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. With our score 34-28, Arizona with the lead. Sioux Falls with the football. And looking at a 4th and 6. Hard snap count there for Brown. Has time. Ball knocked down. And then a late marker comes. Now let's wait and see what it is, because Shirk is the one who drove Brown to the turf. But Shirk is also the one who batted the football down.
Holding offense number 74. Penalties declined. First down.
Yeah, I think Shirk thought initially that the penalty was going to be called on him, but the holding goes against Sioux Falls. Big offensive lineman, Jabari Buckley. And that's a huge penalty, and what a job there by that defense as they turn them over for the 3rd time this game now. And that puts the Arizona offense in a very favorable position. But Curtis Riggs, head coach of Sioux Falls, is livid right now, talking with Larry Farina, the referee.
We talked about it going into that drive, how important it was for this defense to play like the Rattlers defense that we've seen over the last month of the season. They stepped up and look at this field position. Now it's time for this offense to punch this ball into the end zone.
Darrell Monroe in the backfield. Flank to the right. Here's the handoff to Miles. Running play to his right. Miles trying to find a seam. Doesn't find much over there. Another helmet flying off, a Rattler player. That was Claude Davis who came up with the tackle. Managed to pick up 3 on the carry there by Miles.
I tell you what, I just enjoy watching Lamar Mady so much. The reason he's a first-team All-IFL guy, just a punishing blocker, athletic, physical, good pass protector. Knocks this guy 4 or 5 yards off the ball on that particular play.
So 2nd and 7. Ball at the 7-yard line of Sioux Falls. Sokol with a pitch to Monroe. Monroe at the 5. Monroe diving for the corner. Monroe into the end zone for the Arizona touchdown. What a run and effort there from Darrell Monroe. His 3rd rushing touchdown of the game.
And a nice job by Sokol as he takes a big shot from number 15, Claude Davis, who comes on block. That's the guy who's being optioned. Almost could have been a helmet-to-helmet call. I think the official saw shoulder pad to helmet. But what an effort by Monroe to get the ball across the goal line for the touchdown.
Well, and credit also, Anthony Amos, the receiver, did a great job of blocking off the edge, giving Monroe just enough of a crease to get it into the end zone. Petrie to the point after, and Arizona with a little more breathing room. 41-28 with 13:18 to play here in the 4th quarter of the United Bowl Championship.
Boy, this crowd's been through ups and downs, hasn't it? I mean, it got so quiet there in the 2nd quarter. 3rd quarter, they're all jumping on their feet and banging their noisemakers together, and now it's quiet again. So really nice job of kind of getting the ship back on course there, and it all started with the defense, and the defense's stop, given that offense. It struggled a little bit to move the football. Great field position. It has not, every positive gain running the football has been a struggle for the Rattlers, and you have to give a lot of credit to that Storm defensive front.
Yeah, it's only the 3rd time this season that Sioux Falls defensively has surrendered more than 40 points, and those 2 occasions came back-to-back weeks at Green Bay. They won it 56-49. The following weekend, they lost at Wichita Falls 44-36.
See how this kickoff coverage team gets down there. Covers Corey Williams.
Petrie again electing just a straightaway kick. Williams right from the dasher boards. Cuts it to his right at the 5. Spun around there. Nate Lindsay, terrific coverage. Wrapping up Corey Williams and stops his forward progress right around the 8-yard line.
A lot of credit to Nate Lindsay, and it's just refreshing for me to watch the blocking up front by the Storm kickoff return team. Those guys take pride in what they're doing. You can see that they're visibly upset if their guy gets in on a tackle. And boy, if you are a coach and you can get that buy-in on your special teams, you got a chance to be really good all the time.
So they wind the clock, 13-10 and counting, and here in this 4th quarter, Arizona leading at 41-28. Trying to claim their 6th championship, but first ever in the IFL. The all 5, the others came in the Arena Football League. Williams in motion, takes the handoff, running straight ahead. He's cut down quickly there by Bubba Chapman.
Well, the coaching staff again said watch for 5 men in the box from this Rattler defense, and the reason they're going to do that is try and stop the run and take away the quarterback on zone read. You get that extra guy in the box, now you have a guy for the quarterback and a guy for the running back.
Empty backfield. Missed exchange. Arizona covers it up. Well, you had the receiver, Mike Tatum, running in motion, and it was almost similar to that direct snap to him earlier back in the third quarter, Dale, where this time it went to the quarterback, Brown, who tried the inside handoff, but bad timing and a bad time, certainly, for a turnover here by Sioux Falls because Arizona gets it covered up.
As I said the first time they ran that play, the snaps from Buckley would make me nervous if I'm Curtis Riggs. I know you like that play, but the snaps have been high all night long. I'm not going to chance it. He went to the well once again. This time it backfired on him.
Arizona comes back with a handoff their own to Vaughn. Vaughn trying to get off the edge to his right. But, and Dale, it also speaks a lot to really maybe their belief that Brown can help win this game with his passing. We haven't seen really much of it ever. Of course, granted, a lot of it has to do with the Arizona pressure that they've been getting on Brown, but 2nd and 5. Handoff. Harmon lowers his shoulder and pops the defender.
And that's a load coming at you, listed at 250, more like 260. It looks like the Rattlers are going to line up quick here.
Yeah, trying to catch two balls off guard. 1st and goal to go from the 1. High snap. Harmon's got it. Harmon tripped up there in the backfield, though. Nice job by Brandon Pegues.
Running the ball has not been easy. A lot of blue jerseys around the football. They run into the ball. You can tell there's a lot of pride in this Storm defense, and they are not going to go away quietly.
Second and goal to go from the 1. Miles in motion, inside handoff. Harmon's got it. Boy, it looked like a handful of face masks on Harmon. No call made as they tried to fool Sioux Falls with the misdirection, but they certainly were not. Driving back, the offensive line was Khalif Mitchell.
Talked about Mitchell early in the game, listed at 330. From my vantage point, looks a tad bit heavier than that, and really getting penetration along that offensive line, driving Damian Love back into the backfield, and then able to still come off and make a tackle. Looks like the Rattlers are going to go ahead and call a timeout.
Yeah, allowing the play clock to wind down. They call the timeout. That'll stop the game clock at 9:48, faced with 3rd and goal to go from the Sioux Falls 2. We will step aside, take a timeout as well. Arizona leading it and looking for more. 41-28, Rattlers over the Storm in the United Bowl Championship.
Being a great athlete isn't just about running the fastest or jumping the highest. It's also about doing the right thing. That's why Better Business Bureau has partnered with AIA to recognize Arizona high school athletes whose ethics stand out to coaches, teammates, and fans. Do you know an athlete who does the right thing on and off the field? Nominate them today for a BBB Ethical Athlete Scholarship at athlete.arizonabbb.org. That's athlete.arizonabbb.org.
This week at Rick Bronson's House of Comedy on High Street, it's Mike Dambra from Edmonton and New York Comedy Festivals and voted funniest person in Rochester.
You ever drive really late at night, pull up next to somebody and look at them and they're so damn ugly you jump? Then you realize it's your own reflection in the window? On the way here.
Backfield. Play action. Lob it over the top. Pass was high. Gordon unable to hang on. The ball bounced off his hands and then momentarily sat atop the dasher board. It dribbled off into the hands of Gordon, but that does not go down as a catch. The play was there, pass just a little high.
What a great design of a play. You bring in Justin Martin, you bring in Joshua Gordon, you put Gordon into motion, Act like you're going to block the defensive end, slips into the end zone, and all Cody had to do was get a little more air under that football, and it would have been an easy catch for the touchdown.
Joe Petrie comes on with a short field goal attempt. The snap to Thomas, the kick on its way, and it is good. So the Rattlers tack on 3 more and extend their lead 44-28 with 8:59 to go here in the fourth quarter of the United Bowl Championship.
Seems like the Rattlers have righted the ship a little bit, but my goodness, they would like to score a touchdown.
So 44-28 the score. Yeah, a touchdown would have really given them a little more breathing room. Of course, it's still a 2-score game, but you'd be looking at a touchdown and a 2-point conversion at the very least here for Sioux Falls. But it does appear as though the Arizona defense has kind of collected themselves after a blitzkrieg there in the third quarter by the Storm.
And I just have to tip my hat to the physicality of this Storm defense, because this Arizona Rattler offensive line is as good as I've seen in the Indoor Football League, and the defensive line is kind of pushing them around, being a tad bit more physical than the Rattlers are, and you don't see that happen very often. And, you know, the Rattlers knew this coming in. As we got ready for the Nebraska game and the conference championship, and, you know, the coaching staff gave a lot of respect to Nebraska and their defensive line and their run defense, and knew it would be a big test for the Rattlers. Well, they passed that with passing colors, and as we sit here and got ready for this game, they said, well, the Storm defense is better than Nebraska's is, especially up front.
Well, this is a Sioux Falls team, as we have noted, has won 6 consecutive championships. They've won 10 in league history. So they'd be looking for their 11th here today. Petrie's got it teed up. Here's the kick. Williams, with his back against the dasherboards, makes a catch. Moving to his right and tripped up again. Nate Lindsay able to get past the blocker and just torpedoed the legs of Williams out from underneath them. It was Blackman who was trying to get the block on Lindsay, but that's back-to-back kick coverage from Lindsay that has been exceptional.
Give a lot of credit to Nate Lindsay. What great effort and great pride in his coverage there, taking it upon himself to say, you know what, we are not going to let Corey Williams get this team, this Storm team, back in the football game.
So Brown will operate out of his own end zone. Williams motioning. Rattlers bring pressure. Deep throw across the middle. Receiver there, but then batted away the last second by Nate Lindsay. Pass was intended for Mike Tatum. Brown had him had he been able to lead him a little bit more. But Lindsay, great recovery, got back and batted it down with that left hand.
Great makeup speed by Lindsay. You're right. It looked like the receiver was open, had a step or two on Lindsay. Lindsay able to make up a little bit of that ground and then get that left hand in the air to knock the football down.
Brown pressured with the ball fake, and down he goes. That's got to be a safety. Brown was already down before he tried to shovel the pass ahead. He was clearly down.
Well, remember, there's no instant replay.
That's not even
in indoor
close.
Football. But the officials, I don't know why the head official, he's the only one who had the angle on the call, why he's not making the call. He's talking to guys who are down the field.
There is no intentional grounding on the play. Number 20 was in the area.
Well, the Rattlers players are beside themselves. It has nothing to do with intentional grounding. It should be called a safety.
Looks like even his right elbow was down on the ground before he lets go of the football. And the official's standing about 7 yards away from him, and his only job is to watch the quarterback. Now, again, I don't know why he's talking to the other officials, because they can't see what's happening.
Wow, that is absolutely inexcusable.
Double whammy for the Rattlers. Not only a missed safety call, but put 25 seconds more on the clock.
You have that many officials on the field. The referee is 10 yards from the play. And instead of a safety, it's now 2nd and 10. Brown pass across the middle and completes it. Corey Williams running right to left, makes the grab in front of Arkeith Brown.
Now he's going to call roughing the passer on Shirk 2 seconds after.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 30, 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run.
And right now, Curtis Riggs is upset. At the end of the day, Riggs needs to understand you are allowing a 250-pound man to run full speed at your quarterback and not making an attempt to block him. That was a shoulder pad. Again, the Rattlers have got to keep their composure better than you and I are keeping our composure.
So play clock now under 7. Brown with time, now flushed out of the pocket, moves back to his left. Ball was deflected multiple times. Now there's a penalty flag. And I think finally they're going to come together, and let's hope they come to the conclusion that the flag should be picked up. It was tipped twice.
There is no foul for pass interference. The ball was tipped.
and what is Curtis Riggs arguing about? Are you going to tell the officials the ball was not tipped? Again, it's just when the officials allow the coaches to yell and scream at them, influence the game, and you're sitting here now we're going to call a timeout because one of your guys, now he's going to go down.
So the play clock has now been stopped to 6:47.
And it's big Minus Smith, 6'6", 350 pounds, who's not sure what happened. He was walking around, and then after the officials got through talking and discussing what the play was, he went down to a knee. Hope he's just trying to catch a breather.
Well, he's certainly allowing everybody to catch a breather. More importantly, he allows the clock to be stopped at 6:47. His team facing 2nd and 10.
Like he's favoring that right ankle, right knee. It's a big man who's played a lot of football and is a really, really good football player.
Smith, a 5-time All-IFL offensive line performer. He has performed at that level on multiple teams. We saw him earlier this season in another team's uniform.
See, again, what I don't understand, there was a 1.5, 2-minute break right there. Now the officials are going to come over and talk to the coaches now? Just throws the entire rhythm of the football game out of kilter.
Now we get the clock wound by the referee. 2nd and 10 from the Arizona 20. Brown, quick throw to Williams. Williams on the inside cut off the block. And then Williams grabbed and shoved into the dasherboards just inside the 5 at the Arizona 4.
Really nice setup on the play by the Storm offense. Great timing. Great execution.
Brown gets his team lined up. 1st and goal to go from the Arizona 4. Brown on the keeper, but he's going nowhere as Chris McAllister once again grabs him. He'll drop him for like a yard loss.
Not many, if any, defensive ends in this league can make the couple plays tonight that we've seen McAllister make. You don't realize how difficult it is and how athletic you have to be to take 2 guys and be able to tackle a guy like Lorenzo Brown.
5.5 to play. Brown, deep drop. Brown pressured, throws off his heels. Penalty marker thrown, won't matter. Ball is caught for the Sioux Falls touchdown. Judd Harold with the grab. We'll wait and see. Lindsey was the defender. It appeared that he may have been holding.
Holding, defense, number 6. Penalties declined. Touchdown.
And Lorenzo Brown took another shot, slower to get up. This time took a shot from Joshua Gordon, who said able to throw the ball off his back foot. Nice catch through the interference by Harold. Now the Storm offense will go for 2.
(44-34) the score. 5:25 to play here in the 4th quarter. Brown with the pressure, completes the throw, 2-point conversion, good. Marker in the back of the end zone. Well, let's wait and see. May get a pick being called here on Sioux Falls. That's what Kevin Guy is.
Pass interference, offense, number 20, walking downfield.
Well, the thing about it, I think it happened, but it was away from the play. And, you know, as a Storm fan, obviously you're really, really upset. Personally, if the penalty influences the play, throw the flag. If it has nothing to do with the play, keep the flag in your pocket. I thought these officials had done a pretty nice job through the first 2.5, 3 quarters. Seems like this 4th quarter, they've let it get away from themselves a little bit.
Well, Dylan, let's not forget, this drive was essentially kept alive when they failed to call what should have been clearly a safety.
And then called a roughing the passer that wasn't a roughing the passer.
So a long 2-point conversion effort back from the 13. Brown with time, steps up into the pocket, pass sails high, incomplete, and now a late flag comes in.
Pass interference, defense number 3.
That's Bubba Chapman. 8 interceptions coming into the game. 56 tackles. A little contact down in the end zone. And again, a lot of bodies in a small area.
So we'll see if the third time is a charm for the Storm. Third effort at the two-point conversion. Handoff to Tatum. Tatum is going to be stopped just short as he gets blasted over there by Chapman. Boy, what a job by Chapman to grab Tatum around the shoulder pads and basically twist him and keep him out. Now there's a penalty flag over near the Sioux Falls bench.
Well, I think that might end up being unsportsmanlike conduct or a bench foul as the players are following the coaching staff's lead and yelling and screaming at the officials.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 23. That penalty to be banked.
So 5:13 to go, and a 44-34 Arizona lead over the Sioux Falls Storm.
And so just for people out there, if you heard that call, that penalty will be banked. What that means is after the kickoff, wherever the ball is placed, then the penalty will be enforced. And that was a big two-point conversion stop by the Arizona Rattlers and Bubba Chapman because it still keeps it a two-score game with 5 minutes, 13 seconds left.
Sioux Falls has 2 timeouts remaining. Arizona with 1. And we'll see if perhaps on this possession that Curtis Riggs elects for the onside kick, or if he waits maybe one more.
Well, you're sitting there, 5 minutes, 13 seconds left, the way your defense has been playing.
Now they're calling for a reset of the game clock to 5:25.
They just don't want the game to end. But 5 minutes, 25 seconds left, you still have 2 timeouts. Hey, if you're a team that doesn't onside kick very often, I don't think you're going to go for it here, but the Rattlers are lined up in a formation in case they do.
Siervatka with a kick straight away. Miles settles under it 5 yards deep. Cut back at the 5, dancing it out near the 10. Back to his right. And driven into the dasher boards right around the 15-yard line.
Well, 5 minutes, 20 seconds left. This offensive line, Mady, Love, Hazley, the running backs, Monroe, Harmon, this is where your bread is buttered right here. You got to take it as a personal challenge. You get the 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. Somehow, some way, you got to get their nose tackle blocked. Mitchell, number 55, has had himself one heck of a football game, but you got to get him blocked and see if you can't punch this ball in for a touchdown.
Sokol on the keeper. Boy, and this is where Sokol has got to be so careful with the football. He has had a tendency over the last several weeks to put it on the turf. He's already fumbled it once today.
Well, right there, he's carrying the ball with the wrong arm. You want to get the ball on the outside arm, away from the defenders where they can't strip it from you. Ball inside arm. He did gain positive yards.
Hand off to Monroe. Monroe able to slide past a hard-charging defender. Boy, it appeared initially that Elijah Field was going to drop him for no gain or even a loss, but Monroe somehow able to move past him, accelerate, and get a big first down rush right there.
Let me tell you why he got the first down rush. Lamar Mady took Brandon Pegues on a free ride about 10 yards down the field and absolutely dominated him. So fun to watch Mady block on these wide zone plays.
Sokol on the toss to Monroe. Monroe staying upright, driving forward, and stacked up short of the 10. And Sioux Falls is going to burn a timeout. Comes with 3:36 to go here in the fourth. And Arizona leading at 44-34.
And you don't mind that at all. You actually, if you're Kevin Guy at second down, you wouldn't mind gaining another 4 yards and scoring after third down, because you'd like to get as much of this clock run off or make the Storm use that last time out before you punch it in. Of course, you'll take the touchdown, but you wouldn't mind seeing a little more time or the timeout come off the clock. I think the Storm know. I think the Rattlers fans know. I'd be very surprised if Kevin Guy calls a passing play here. I think he's going to put it on that offensive line and their running backs to punch it in. There's a reason why Daryl Monroe, first team IFL.
I'm not sure. Oh, we may have some blood on the turf, actually, is what they... Right there on the...
Has football really gotten that soft to where you now wipe blood off the field? I mean, come on, K-Ray. It's a blood sport. My goodness.
You're not getting any disagreement from me. Hand off to Vaughn. Vaughn trying to get loose, but unable to do so. He's wrapped up quickly there by Rashard Smith. And Sioux Falls burning their final timeout. Comes with 3:28 to go. So they'll be out of timeouts. Keep in mind, though, that the clock will stop at the 1 minute warning.
And then once the 1 minute warning happens, the clock is stopped on incomplete passes or when you hit the dasher board.
That brings up second and I believe 3rd and 7 coming up here.
Still would be very surprised to see the Rattlers put the ball in the air. Remember, down here inside the 10-yard line, you have these curved end zones. It just seems so crowded, a lot of bodies in there. This is when the ball can get tipped. A lot of bad things can happen.
So the ball is marked outside the far hash mark. They load up that side of the field. Sokol deep drop, passing. When he had Vaughn there, Sokol, though, under heavy pressure, had 2 defenders in his face, draped all over him. Basically threw it over the head of Vaughn and out of the back of the end zone. So probably a wise decision. Unfortunately, though, it does stop the clock.
I believe that, your last coaching point to Cody is if it's not there, throw it out of the back of the end zone. Again, Mitchell, number 55, Knight, number 3, both all over Cody Sokol as he let go of the football.
Clock moving now. Petrie on for the field goal attempt. 23 yards. Drives it straight through. And Sawyer Petrie giving Arizona a little more room. 47-34 the score with 2:36 to go here in the United Bowl Championship. Our coverage on the Fanatic continues after this.
Find out what professional grade is all about. Hey, it's Crespin from my friends over at Liberty GMC. You've probably heard me talk about it, but I made the switch. I purchased my GMC Canyon from the staff over at Liberty, and like you, I had options. But it was an easy decision as soon as I walked on the lot. I grew up at dealerships, come from a family, everybody works in the car industry. My dad spent 50 years working collision repair. I've got a decent pulse on what I'm dealing with when it comes to car dealerships. And the family-owned difference, evident immediately. Zero pressure, informative. They were interested in making sure I got into the right vehicle for me. The entire process truly was professional grade, and they made a customer for life. Experience it for yourself. The time is perfect. Get yourself in that new truck or SUV that you've had your eye on. Right now at Liberty, they're taking $6,000 off MSRP on the 2017 Acadia and over $9,000 off MSRP on the 16 Sierra 2500 diesel. They're conveniently located right off the 101, 87th Ave, West Bell Road, and online at libertygmcaz.com. It's Liberty GMC. We are professional grade.
The Arizona Rattlers looking to dethrone the United Bowl champs 6 times over. Corey Williams off of the Sawyer Petrie kick from the goal line. Williams running to his left, stacked up, spun around, and driven into the turf here at Denny Sanford Premier Center. Nice job on that coverage by Dylan Winfrey. Getting a little special teams coverage playing time today. They'll mark it at the 10, 2:31 to go. And right now for Arizona, it's just about continuing to play good, solid defense. No silly penalties.
Because remember, when you have penalties, the clock stops. Especially for the next minute and 31, you just want to do anything but give up a big play, keep everybody in front of you, just make a tackle.
Snap a little high. Brown pressured again. Throwing deep past Tatum there. Tatum on the catch. Bouncing up the dashboards. Cuts back inside. And a one and done. Well, that'll get you back in the game quickly.
Haven't seen them be successful going downfield today. They've been close on a couple plays. And this time a little bit of pressure. Very good throw, just a nice job bouncing off the dasher boards there by Tatum and getting past Bubba Chapman into the end zone.
Vodka for the point after, and it's good. 1:30 to go, 47-41.
Well, what's going to be interesting here, got to have this kickoff, take more than 5 seconds so we can get down below 125. Then the clock will start. You can take it down to the 1-minute warning. Remember, there's no timeouts left for this Storm football team. Could run the football a couple times, got to gain positive yards, and this game is over with.
Sounds easy.
I'm just pretty impressed with my math. You didn't know where I was going when it's got to take about 5 seconds.
Yeah, especially if Miles is able to burn a little extra time on the return even.
And remember this. If I'm Curtis Riggs right here, if I have an onside kick in my bag of tricks, it's coming out right here.
Well, you got to believe it's going to come here. He's done the same math that you have.
You think, really? You think he's as advanced as I am? He didn't go to SMU, I don't think.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say yes.
Okay.
The onside kick comes. The Arizona defender or return man got absolutely drilled. There's 2 penalty flags on the field, and you got to believe it's going to go against Sioux Falls. It was Vodka who recovered his own onside kick. Now this could be a game-shaping decision courtesy of the officiating crew.
Remember, there's 2 flags, so there's 2 different infractions. My number 1 rule when you're doing an onside kick is you have to be onside for it to count.
Well, and I believe they are going to at least one penalty based on that replay. Sirabatka touched it before it had gone 10 yards. It was close, but the angle that we had on the replay, we'll see it again. But he followed the tracking of the ball the entire time, but it just took a bounce, and he just touched it just before the 10-yard line.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Offside, kicking team.
My number 1 rule.
Illegal block, kicking team before the ball went 10 yards. Receiving team will take the ball at the spot of recovery.
Well, the fans don't like it, but it is, and they are, the correct calls.
And the clock didn't move. It's amazing to me because you get so antsy as a kickoff team. You want to get down there and do your job that you forget to stay onside on an onside kickoff. As far as the illegal block, you know what? You're running full speed. You're going to take a shot at somebody, try and clear a path for your kicker to jump on the football.
Now we'll see what kind of a gambler Kevin Guy is here. You got to believe that Sioux Falls is anticipating a run-heavy package coming here from the Rattlers.
And they should start the clock here, and the Rattlers should take their time.
Well, I think they were trying to get the clock reset to the correct time, 1:29. Getting players set and ready for play. And now we get the winding of the clock signal from the referee.
See, this is why I'd rather Rattlers stay in the huddle, but at least they didn't get down into a stance offensive line-wise.
Hand off to Monroe. Monroe running to his right. That play will take us down to the 1-minute warning. And there is the official indication. 1 minute remaining here in the United Bowl Championship. A white knuckle finish here in Sioux Falls. The Arizona Rattlers leading the Sioux Falls Storm 47-41. We'll be back with more on the Fanatic after this.
Arizona's new home for sports is AM 1580 KQFN Tempe and 99.3 K257CD Phoenix. 1580 AM, The Fanatic.
Beat the heat and let Danky's cater your summer parties. From mouth-watering, fall off the bone ribs, perfect pulled pork, to juicy chicken and the best brisket in town, Danky's can cater an incredible feast for your family and friends. Don't forget about Danky's great side dishes. Complete your craving with their pork belly pit beans, southern-style potato salad, or their light and refreshing green apple coleslaw. When it's too hot to barbecue, let Danky's cater for you. Danky's Barbecue is located on the southwest corner of Bell and Tatum next to Walmart and at dankysbarbecue.com.
I get to play with my friends.
Because of my new heart, I've been given more time with my wife and 2 children.
When I marry my fiancé, I'll be able to see into his eyes.
Now I can swim with my grandkids and hear their laughter.
I hope to get a transplant too. When you choose to be an organ and tissue donor, you're saving more lives than you know. Sign up. Save lives. Register now
Coming on
at
back.
DonateLifeAZ.org.
1580 The Fanatic.
1 minute remaining here in the United Bowl Championship from the Denny Sanford Premier Center in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Kevin Ray, Dale Hellis Gray, Arizona leading at 47-41. They've got the football. 2nd and 10. Sokol on the play action on the little bootleg. Rolls out to his right. Boy, and a big tackle right there.
You have to gain positive yardage for the clock to continue to move.
Tyler Knight with a mammoth tackle right there.
We talked about him all night long, the season that Knight has put together, second team all IFL, and that looked like Cody Sokol had a chance to gain some yards, and that's all they needed to keep this clock moving.
Now looking at 3rd and 10. Handoff to Monroe, running to his left. Monroe grabbed around the shoulder pads. Again, no gain. Brings up 4th down.
And that's just good on good. You have to tip your cap to this Sioux Falls defense. What a tremendous job that they've done against this Rattler rushing attack. I think the Rattlers will look at it and say, you know what, we didn't play our best game, but you've got to tip your cap to that front 5 for the Storm.
So they'll bring on Sawyer Petrie. He's hit his last 2. This win will be from 28. And Petrie drives it right through. And with that, gives Arizona an all-important 9-point lead with 47 seconds remaining, 50-41.
You have got to give Sioux Falls a ton of credit for how hard they played defense. When's the last time we saw an Arizona Rattler team not able to get positive yards to keep the clock moving, Kevin? I can't remember it ever happening, and yet they did it 3 times. Unsung hero Darren Thomas stepping in for John Wolf as a holder. The job that he's done all year, not when he got the starting job taken away from him. Still a great teammate, hard worker, steps in now as a holder. They had a couple snafus against Nebraska. 2 weeks really have ironed that out and has looked very smooth tonight.
Of course, now the burden falls on this kick coverage unit. Corey Williams returned the first kick of the game. Back for a score. High kick here. Williams fields it at the 8. Looking to his left, cuts back to his right. Trying to keep those legs driving forward, but stacked up there by Bubba Chapman. And drops him around the 18. Stops the clock at 42 seconds remaining.
A little scary there, Kevin. That ball was kicked about the 8-yard line and looked like Corey Williams was going to have a full head of steam coming forward, and that's not something you like to see if you're a Rattler fan.
Now let's see if this Arizona defense has 2 or 3 more big plays left in them.
Remember, incomplete pass or you tackled into the dasher board, the clock will stop. The Storm have no timeouts left.
Pressure comes. Brown on the throw. Throws and completes to Tatum, running left to right. Tatum the catch at the Arizona 15.
And those are the things that just kill you if you're the Rattlers. A deep crossing route, catch the ball, pick up the first down, get to the dasher board, stop the clock again. You tackle them inbounds, at least 10 to 12 more seconds are running off the clock.
Yeah, clock stopped at 37. Brown with the snap. Has time, steps, throws, pass incomplete. That time he was blistered by Shirk, and Joshua Gordon came barreling off the edge as well. That took 5 seconds off the clock, so down to 32.
You can see this Storm offense trying different ways, different looks to block Justin Shirk. That time they put Corey Williams on him. Brown had to hold on to the football a little bit longer. Good coverage downfield by that Rattlers secondary.
Brown pressured, moving to his right, throws off his heels, ball batted up in the air and batted away from Corey Williams. Back into a little holding pen where the Arizona team resides during the game. And that one only took 5 seconds off the clock, so down to 27, but the incompletion makes it 3rd and 10.
Remember, we are playing in Sioux Falls. The clock operator has a very slow finger on the clock to start it, and a very quick one to blow it dead.
Brown with time, throws across the middle, picked off in the end zone by Arkeith Brown. Brown on the return of the 10, brings it out to the 15. He's got blockers if he wants to bring it down at the 15 of the 10. Brown at the 5, and goes down inside the 5, and that will do it.
You could tell there were so many things that went through Arkeith's mind on that play. He intercepted the ball, he bring it out, he thought about going down, then he saw nobody coming toward him, so he said, well, why don't I keep running, let this clock run down, then, I might be able to score.
Arkeith Brown with his 6th interception of the season. And the Arizona Rattlers coming to Sioux Falls and doing something that few teams have had success in doing over the last several years.
And that one thing, by agreement, if both coaches say you can take a knee, you can take a knee. And we're going to see if Curtis Riggs agreed with Kevin Guy, and he did.
What a win here by the Arizona Rattlers as they come to Sioux Falls. One loss on their home field in the last 7 years. The Rattlers make it 2 now with a final Arizona 50, the Sioux Falls Storm 41. The Arizona Rattlers are your 2017 United Bowl champions. Stay with us. We'll step aside for a timeout. We'll be back with a trophy presentation and more. You're listening to coverage of the United Bowl Championship on 1580 AM, 99.3 FM, The Fanatic.
ProCopy is changing the way your company buys copiers and printers. ProCopy's from ProCopy, including our famous 2.5-hour response time and free after-hour support, so you continue to love us and to remember.
Affordable, fluffy donuts served in a no-frills atmosphere by friendly staff. There's also coffee drinks, breakfast and lunch sandwiches, fruit smoothies, and hot cocoa for the kids. Bosa also sells donut holes for 99 cents a dozen. Whether you're in Chandler, Gilbert, Mesa, Casa Grande, Phoenix, or Scottsdale, you've got access to Bosa Donuts 24/7. Bosa Donuts, the best donuts in Arizona.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier.
My daughter Brooklyn was also a motivation for me to go back to school.
Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off.
At age 26, Kareem finished his high school diploma.
I could not have done it alone. I feel like if I didn't have anyone to push me, I wouldn't be able to bother to do it. I got
fans, much less the football players and coaching staff and ownership thought that they would see unfold here today. That's the 2017 United for MVP.
So congratulations to Arizona Rattlers linebacker Justin Shirk.
Justin Shirk doing the offensive player of the half.
Our team did a great job. Nice job, Kevin.
Rattlers owner Ron Shirts.
Hey, folks, I want to congratulate Sioux Falls. They've been a great team now. And we modeled ourselves after them. 6 championships in a row. You got to take the hat off to this organization. I want to thank our ownership, Ron Shirts. The best there is, I don't care if it's IFL or league, it doesn't matter. Ron Shirts is the best. I want to thank all our fans that traveled here from Phoenix to watch this game. I want to thank my assistant coaches, my football staff, this organization, front office.
Chris Preston, his staff. These guys work unbelievable hard. Jeff Sonegate, Connie Kawhi, Nick Davila, Leland Rogers, Todd Carter, Stuart Nichols. Excellent job. And last, I want to thank these players. They got it done on the field, baby. Here we go, baby.
Honors in every level that he's coached at. Now has won a championship in every league and level that he has coached at.
And at the end of the day, like he said, I love the way that the game ended. You know, you're talking about 2 unbelievably successful coaches. Curtis Riggs went over, gave Kevin Guy a hug. Kevin Guy giving Curtis the love. And at the end of the day, when you model yourselves after a team and then you can, at the end of the year, find a way to go to their place and take that championship from them, boy, it is a very, very nice moment.
So the Rattlers claimed their 6th championship, first ever in IFL play, the 5 previous coming in the AFL. You know, we talked to Coach Kevin Guy when they were sitting there at 2-3, and a position that he, as head coach of the Rattlers, had never been in at that point in the season, being 2-3. But there was no sense of panic from none of the coaching staff. They knew they had the talent, but they were young. They needed to be developed. They needed to really be taught how to play Rattler football, and in large part, how to play indoor football and in the IFL rules.
We talked to him before the season started. He said he knew there were going to be some struggles. Says not how you start, it's how you finish. And it's really easy to say that when you're 3-1 and maybe not playing really well, or 4-0. But when you're 2-3 and seem to be struggling a little bit, to stay the course, to not panic, just to continue to get better and work at your craft. You have got to tip your cap to the Arizona Rattlers organization. As you heard Kevin Guy say, it all starts with Ron Shirts. And Ron Shirts has done an absolutely fantastic job, given this team the resources to go out and get the